So one of the biggest questions that we get, actually what gets brought up the most from people, either commenting or when they reach out, is, hey, West Side versus the East Side, or Portland versus Beaverton. I chose to reside in the Beaverton area. I got kiddos, family, and it's just more suburb living. But after doing all these vlogs and videos and living here after 3 years, there's some areas over on the east side that I could definitely see myself living. So the whole goal of this video is you're trying to decide between, Beaverton or Portland. I'm going to go through some of the top areas, what you're going to expect in a couple of these different areas. So at the end of this, you'll have a full understanding of, okay, that ain't my jam, this is more my jam, and vice versa. So in this video, everything you need to know, Portland versus Beaverton, is coming up next. What's up, everybody? This is Jackson Wilkey with the Real Agent Now Group right here in Portland, Oregon. If this is your first time to this channel, you want to learn everything about what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, play, and the difference between Portland and Beaverton, make sure you tap that subscribe button and you click the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. We honestly get phone calls, emails, texts every single day from people moving and relocating to Portland and Vancouver, Washington, and we absolutely love it. So thinking about moving anywhere in those areas, make sure you give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, send us that pigeon carrier, however you want to get a hold of us. We got your back when moving to the Portland Metro. All right, so you're going to be moving to the Portland area and you have no idea, or you're thinking, hey, Beaverton's more my style, Portland's more my style, but you just don't know. That is a big reason why we've gone out and vlogged a lot of these different areas so that you can truly see it. But what I'm going to do is just really break it down and start telling you some stories about these areas so that it's going to help you. Okay, yeah, that's fitting exactly what I thought, or wow, that was nothing like I expected. So first and foremost, the biggest difference between Portland and Beaverton really is it is going to be the style of living per se. So and the job structure. So Beaverton was really put on the map because the Nike World headquarters is right there. I mean, you drive, anywhere through Beaverton, you can look up and see the cranes. They're building the LeBron James building right now, the Serena Williams building. I did a tour of that place. It's unbelievable. If you come there, try and lock down a tour. It's one of the coolest things you'll ever do. But that's really what put Beaverton on the map, and everything kind of grew around that. But everybody thinks, you see the dot, Beaverton right there, and that's where you live, but it actually isn't. The main street of Beaverton, there's really no living at all. They're starting to build some apartments and stuff around there, and the Max line cuts through there, but everything is going to be south of that if you're thinking Beaverton. The stuff that's just to the south of Beaverton, where you see it on the map, so that reminds me of where I grew up. I grew up in North Idaho, and it was more like the neighborhood I was in was like that 70s split level style. So if you're like, I kind of want to live in the Beaverton area, but I don't want like the cookie cutter neighborhood, and I want a little bit more space. Hey, I got a boat, I got an RV. That's what I see. In fact, my daughter's daycare is right there. It's just a lady. And by the way, if you're moving to Portland, lock down your daycare. It's like the hardest thing to get into ever. So you really want to lock that down before you move here. But yeah, we found this lady who accepts 12 kids per year or whatever, and it's a hell of a lot more affordable. But she lives in this area, and as I drive up and down these roads right there to pick up my daughter, that's what I noticed. Like, oh my gosh, this is just how I grew up. And the lots are all like a quarter acre, so huge open yards. And they have like those gravel driveways on the side, so you'll always see all the RVs, the boats, and the extra parking there. You'll even see some shops in there, so you're going to have more space and the ability to, it's pretty lenient in there too. So, I mean, you can build your shop or add on to the house, unlike, some of the new HOA style developments. So then from there, Beaverton's really down in the south part of it, like South Beaverton, where I reside, is Progress Ridge. So that was one thing that really kind of threw me off, was I liked more space and not cookie cutter. But then I get into this area and it's like very cookie cutter, and there's like this one spot and it has 50 shops, restaurants, bars, movie theaters, everything right there. And I thought, that's not what I want. I get in there and I find out that's actually like the easiest thing in the world. I can walk down with my kids, hit parks, go grab beers, and the kids can hang outside and play. And, there's movie theaters and everything you need right there. So a lot of the Beaverton side, with the Nike and Intel is right there. That's what we're seeing, is huge growth. And what that did too is also bring in these new schools. So you're talking Mountainside, which is the most technologically advanced high school in the nation, right there in the South Beaverton area. But honestly, I think Tigard High School, Tualatin, some of these areas, and Sherwood is just down to the south. Sherwood's an area that, it's a little bit more like farm country. You see the mountains, you're nestled right in there with the wine country. It was an area where you could really stretch the budget, but it's also now an area that's exploding. Like there are so many people moving there. There's really not many homes for sale there. Obviously working with the relocation team, and we have relationships with, a lot of the listing agents and clients over there. So we can find these before they come available. But yeah, that's what we're seeing is like, it's kind of more rural living over there in the South Beaverton, the Tigard, Tualatin. You're right on the urban growth boundary. The urban growth boundary is something that gets voted on every 10 years and it can't expand. That's why, home prices are really rising in Portland, no matter where, because we can't just spread out and build anywhere. So you definitely want to look into areas like that. So I love, Portland and some of the surrounding areas, and being able to get out and enjoy, this with my friends, my family, everybody. That's like when I really started learning that like the Northeast, the Southeast Portlands, and even like kind of the inner Portland area, I like to call it, which is like the Multnomah Village and stuff. They really started to turn my head. In fact, even with family, the kiddos and all that, I'm starting to find some areas that I would absolutely love to live in. So we're going to go through some of that on the Portland side. And the first one, the closest to Beaverton, is just into the east, puts you only like 15 minutes to downtown. It's Multnomah Village. It's got a cool little main street down there. It's got John's Market. John's Market, you know me, I love my brewskis. They have over 4,000 different beers there every single day, and they're always getting new stuff. So from all across the country, they get all the different beers, and you can get this. They have all 6-packs, right? And you can break them apart and take individual beers home. They have like 2,000 different wines. So it's a really cool spot, and I swear they have the best double bacon cheeseburger in Portland. Try and prove me wrong on that. And that's what it is. It's got a cool little downtown street, but why people love Multnomah Village is not John's Market. They tell me, Jackson, all right, I really like, the trees, the nature. I love everything about the Northwest, and, I'd like to be able to hike somewhere. I also like riding my bike and jogging, and I want something a little bit more challenging. And they're kind of painting me this picture, and I'm like, Multnomah. So this guy, he, and maybe this fits you. You like to just get outside, active. That's why you're moving to the Northwest, right? And he was, talking about Beaverton, Tigard, Tualatin, some of these areas over there. And I'm like, what do you like to do? He goes, actually, I like to get on my bike after work and ride 10, 15 miles, hit some hills and maybe get out and hike some trails. I'm like, all right. So that's why we do this whole YouTube channel for you guys, is so that we can, kind of tell you about all these different areas. But once you call us and reach out, these are the conversations we have. What are you moving here for? What's your lifestyle? So I take them into Multnomah Village, and the second we get in there, I'm talking, we go up and over these hills, and we're taking, gradual turns. And I'm like, yeah, that's Tryon Creek right there. Me and the family went hiking in there. There's like 70 miles of trails in there. You can take your dog in there. There's bridges like across creeks and stuff. Yeah, creek. I say creek. And then we're going up and over these roads, and it's like just it's inner Portland. It's been there a long time. And he's like, oh my gosh, this is like my dream come true. I had no idea. You'll never get this from like reading about it. He goes, I've read every blog and everything. So that is one area that I would love to be in. And they have killer schools in there. Now you are right next to Beaverton, Hillsboro, all those areas. And you're 15 minutes from downtown Portland. And just to the south of you, Lake Oswego. So, you're really in a great central location to really anything. So then going out, North Portland, Northeast, Southeast Portland, this is where you're going to get the prototypical PDX, man. The Portland is weird, but at the same time, it's really starting to turn more into just, hey, I can live wherever I want. I really want that independent coffee shop, restaurant, bar. I want to be able to get off work. Maybe I work from home, or maybe I work, somewhere downtown or whatever. And when I get done, I just want to be able to walk around and see, go hiking, hit the coffee shop, go get the brewskis. But hey, I do have kids too. I want to take them with me, and school. So either or, you're going to see this. Some of the top spots that I like just going through actually just completely shocked me was like the Sabin area. So Sabin is right in between Irvington, and it's going to be, Irvington's one of the most expensive areas in Portland. It is gorgeous. If you want luxury living, but the true Portland, flat streets, right in the heart of all the fun things to do, I'm telling you, Irvington, you're going to love it. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's a little spendy. So Sabin puts you right there. That's one of the ones that when we're cruising with J-Dow with Jesse, and he's like, dude, this is like the up and comer. I swear this is, going to explode, and it already has since we started shooting these videos. So it's an area where you can get in a little bit more affordable, and that really works for you coming. Maybe it's the young, couple, young professionals, a 3-1, a 2-1, and you want to get into that hot area and be close to everything. Sabin, and they have incredible parks right there too. So that Sabin, Alameda area. Some of those elementary schools, and this is all public data, I'm not trying to steer in any way, but those elementary schools there, some of them aren't ranked as high. And I was like, Jesse, what's up with this? Like, that's the coolest elementary I've ever seen. He goes, I think, a lot of it has to do with income. And so some of the areas right around there are older, retirees who are starting to, sell and move out. But right now, because they're just living off retirement, some of their incomes might be a little lower. And I think that's what brings the school ratings down. I would let my kids go to any of those schools in there. So there's definite pockets. But if you're in the Irvington, Alameda, Sabin, especially, Alberta Arts, some of those areas, incredible. The one that really caught me that never gets much attention, we did some full vlog tour on it, the Beaumont, Wilshire areas. You get all of the incredible streets right there. You're surrounded by it. You get those other 4 cities, neighborhoods that I just talked about, and it has the wider lots, the bigger lots. You'll notice this when I talk a lot is like more space, non-cookie cutter and quieter. So you're going to be, you have some of the best taco shops and just restaurants, bars, really cool, like grocery stores and stuff right there. And you're right on top of the Hollywood district now. And Beaumont, Wilshire apparently means the bluff, so it rolls right over into the Hollywood district, so you can see all that, views for days. And that's going to put you really close to the freeways, so if you need to get out anywhere, 84, any of those, you're going to be close. You have the Mac station right down below you as well. Beaumont, Wilshire is an area that really doesn't get talked about a lot, and so people don't even know about it. I would highly eventually or advise you to take a tour through there. Let us show you these, because that's going to be, again, like probably the 50s, 60s, 70s, style home, bigger lot, but it's really quiet in there. That's the one thing I noticed. You need to get in an area too, if it drives you crazy, where the streets are really tight. Sometimes the Hawthorne districts, Belmont, some of those areas, which are just killer. People love them. But for me, like, the streets are this narrow. Like, you got to pull over and wait for a car to come around. So Irvington, some of those areas, they have the wider streets. One of the areas that I just love over there, it's going to put you out kind of the farthest east. If you're talking about the northeast, southeast, is South Tabor. You're right at the end of Hawthorne. Hawthorne Boulevard is nationally known. It's one of the most incredible walkable, streets and neighborhoods. You get Belmont right there, and man, you head to the end of that, head east, and boom, here is this giant mountain. We go hiking there all of the time, and that is actually, I would love to live up there, because now you're going to head up the mountain, so you have views of all of downtown Portland, the skylight, the everything, and you're going to be right there tucked into the hills and have hiking every single day. They got like these little areas in there for like neighborhood gardens, so if you're into that, there's a bunch of like neighborhood gardens. I got a buddy who lives right there. I meet him all the time, and he just walks from his house with his dog, and he's got a 1-year-old, so it's on the backpack, and they cruise up. Yeah, we'll go hiking there, me and the family and the kiddos, and then we cruise down, like hit the Alameda neighborhood or something, and go hit, a brewery, grab a brewski, go to Pip's Donuts. It's the single greatest donut you'll ever have in your entire life, I guarantee it. You're probably going to have to wait like an hour to get it, but oh my gosh, best donuts. So that's really it. The big difference between Portland and Beaverton, obviously the west side is going to be more suburban. You're going to have more of like the suburbs, and that's how it's built. Portland, Oregon is more like section. You have northeast, you have southeast. It's going to be a lot, flatter. The streets are all just north, south, east, west. And whereas the west side, the Beavertons, it's not going to be like that per se. It's more suburban. So there's some of the top school districts all over. And then the can't miss area that most people know, Lake Oswego. That's down south. It has the best school districts in all of Oregon. Again, not steering in any way. It's all public information that's out there. But that's one area. It has a great little downtown scene. A Street goes down there and dead ends. You have all of these shops. You got Salt and Straw, incredible ice cream. You got George Rogers Park, so the river goes right through Lake Oswego. Obviously, you have the lake there, but it's private, so the river cruises through there. It's got white sandy beaches. You can go down. We go down there all the time, and that's where we go swimming. Great swimming hole. So that's going to be an area that is just unbelievable. You can't go wrong in Lakeo. Some of the other areas, if you're thinking Portland, stretching the dollar, get close to downtown. We mentioned this on our live show the other day too. Milwaukee. This is an area that's really starting to explode, and you are looking straight across the river at Lake Oswego. So it's like the cheap Lake Oswego. I remember driving through there. If you haven't seen our vlog of it, go check that out. Like you can get these lots that are half acre, 1 acre, and you're right next to the river. You know, take your boat down and launch it, and then you actually have a cool little downtown scene. And the Max line runs into Milwaukee now. It actually goes through there. So anytime that happens, it really starts bringing up the house prices. But the high school in there, you know, it's kind of an older one. They completely remodeled it. It's a gorgeous high school. So schools, everything is really going to start picking up there. I think Milwaukee is one of the best areas, the most up and coming and most affordable, and be 15 minutes from downtown Portland. So the real big difference, again, the west side really has those big jobs. In fact, some of the, you know, during COVID and the unfortunate events that we've seen, some of the rioting, some of those huge companies pulled out of Portland, and people say, oh my gosh, the big companies left Portland. Well, they did, but they just went out west to Hillsboro. So Hillsboro statistically is known as the most affordable city to live in the state of Oregon. And you're like, well, the home prices don't show it. Well, according to the national average of the household income over there, because of Intel and Nike, and then yes, it does have lower prices because it's the farthest out west, before like Forest Grove area. That's where that ranking comes from, and it's exploding. I've been here for 3 years. Hillsboro is like this little town. That was about it. And just in the 3 years I've been here, the South Hillsboro project, thousands and thousands of homes basically connecting Hillsboro and Beaverton, is exploding. So it's called the Silicon Forest. All the big jobs are going out there. So if you want like can't miss schools, you know, and good job structure, and we get this a lot too. People are moving here with a business. So if you want that good pool of I guess not contestants, but the good pool of people for your business, you know, to work. I'm struggling for that word. Anyways, you're going to have a lot of people out there looking for jobs who are qualified, you know, highly qualified. So that's another thing too. Big difference is it's just all lifestyle. That's what we perfected, you know, like you're going to talk to us and say, I like this, I like that. I want to be close to this. I want to be able to hike. But I'm working here at such location. Once we filter all that data, we go, man, there's 2 or 3 areas you've never even heard of. Let's schedule some tours. We take you through there. After we do that, people are just blown away at some of these areas they never knew. How do we do that? The only way we can do that is you reach out. You got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, weekends. We got your back when moving to Portland and Vancouver. Both of them are great, by the way. So if you want that, make sure you give us a call any day, nights, weekends. We got your back when moving to the Portland Metro. And until our next video, guys, we'll catch you later.